My husband filed for divorce the moment I inherited my late mother's fortune, certain he'd finally struck gold, but he never expected that my mom's final move in her will would expose his greed, protect me, and completely turn the tables on him in a way that left everyone speechless. My husband initiated divorce proceedings just as I came into my mother's significant fortune. He was certain he'd struck gold, but my mom had a more profound plan. The instant her entire estate became mine, Noah, my husband, transformed into the most attentive and outwardly supportive man. Yet, when I resisted his desires to freely access my inheritance, his demeanor shifted, and he decided he no longer wished to share our life. The events that followed would entirely overturn his perception of things. I always recognized my mother's sharp intellect. She seemed consistently a step ahead, with an uncanny ability to discern people's true intentions. However, I never grasped the full extent of her foresight until after she was gone. Her final, strategic move left everyone speechless. My relationship with Mom had grown complicated in her last years. A distance formed between us that I couldn't bridge. Part of the problem was her clear, though unstated, disapproval of Noah. During visits to her cozy Maplewood home, Mom would fall silent whenever Noah spoke of his grand plans or future dreams. She'd raise an eyebrow when he mentioned needing money for investment opportunities or business ventures. Her questions sounded more like statements, as if she already knew the answers and disliked what she'd uncovered. "Mom, why can't you just be happy for me?" I asked after a particularly tense Sunday dinner, where Noah had pitched his latest cryptocurrency scheme. "I am happy when you're truly happy, sweetheart," she replied, carefully setting her coffee cup down. "I just want to make sure you're seeing the whole picture." "He's not perfect, but he's who I chose," I countered defensively. "Can't you just accept that?" She didn't argue, only gave me that look, the one that made me feel she saw a chess game I couldn't imagine. It was frustrating and comforting at once. "I love you, Kelly," she simply said. "More than you know." I thought she was being overprotective, maybe controlling. I figured mothers just struggled to let their daughters make their own choices, especially imperfect ones. Noah wasn't her ideal, a mid-level marketing guy, a beat-up Honda Civic, and a habit of ordering the priciest item when someone else paid. But he made me laugh. He remembered my birthday. He brought me chicken soup when I was sick. Wasn't that enough? Looking back, I now realize Mom saw past his charm to something I was too naive to recognize. She knew that when money entered our relationship, Noah's true colors would emerge, and she was preparing for that moment long before I even knew it was coming. My mother's sudden passing at 62 from a heart attack left me utterly devastated. Grief hit me harder than expected, weighted by so many unfinished conversations, so much space between us that would never be filled. I regretted every argument, every time I'd prioritized Noah over her. Our last dispute had been about Thanksgiving dinner. Noah wanted to visit his brother in Phoenix, and I'd sided with him. Now, there would be no more Thanksgivings with her. The funeral was beautiful, yet heartbreaking. Colleagues and friends shared stories of her kindness, sharp wit, and infectious laugh. Neighbors recalled her unwavering habit of collecting their mail. Noah was supportive during those bleak days. He handled arrangements when I was overwhelmed, fielding calls and organizing the reception. He even helped pack her belongings, though I noticed his keen interest in her jewelry box and antique furniture. "Your mom had exquisite taste," he remarked, admiring her mahogany dining table. "This stuff must be worth a fortune." Too grief-stricken, I paid little attention at the time. But just 3 weeks after the funeral, Mom's lawyer called with life-altering news. "Kelly, I need you to come to my office," Mr. Patterson said gently. "There are matters concerning your mother's estate we must discuss in person." The next morning, in his hushed, dark-wood office, he presented a thick folder. "Your mother bequeathed everything to you, Kelly," he stated. "The Maplewood house, retirement accounts, savings, and investments you likely didn't know about. It's quite substantial." I stared at the numbers, certain of a mistake. "Over $650,000? This can't be right," I whispered. Mom was comfortable, but not wealthy. Mr. Patterson explained her extreme privacy with finances. She'd been diligently saving and investing for decades, never touching an inheritance from your grandmother. She wanted to ensure your future security. I drove home in a daze, the documents on the passenger seat like a ticking bomb. How was I to process this? Weeks ago, I was grieving. Now, I was grappling with being financially set for life. Yet, what truly astonished me wasn't the money itself, but Noah's immediate reaction upon hearing the news. Initially, Noah seemed genuinely supportive when I revealed the inheritance. "Wow, Kelly," he said, hugging me. "Your mom always knew how strong you were. You deserve this, babe." His reaction felt sincere, and I was relieved, having worried about how such a sum might alter our relationship. But within days, Noah started subtly suggesting ways to spend the money. "Time to trade in your old Toyota for something newer," he proposed at breakfast, buttering toast with unusual fervor. "You deserve something nice." "My Camry runs fine, Noah," I replied. "I don't need a new car." "But with the inheritance, we could get a BMW or that Lexus you admire." His eagerness made me uneasy, but I pushed it aside, thinking he was just trying to care for me. Then came the vacation ideas. I found an amazing beach house in the Hamptons for the entire summer. Noah announced, his laptop open. "Just the two of us. Doesn't that sound perfect?" "That sounds expensive," I said. "So what? You can afford it now. We should enjoy life." The suggestions escalated. Napa Valley, Cubs season tickets, a country club membership. Next, housing ideas surfaced. "We should think about moving, Kelly," he said over dinner. "Find a house that truly makes you happy. Something with a big yard, maybe a pool." Each idea sounded reasonable, but something felt wrong. There was a palpable hunger in his eyes when he talked about spending, a calculating quality that reminded me of how he eyed dessert menus at expensive restaurants. "Noah, I need time to think about all this," I told him. "It's a lot of money, and I want to be smart about it." "Smart about it?" he scoffed, his fork pausing. "Kelly, this is our chance to live the life we've always wanted. Why are you so hesitant?" "Because it's not our money, Noah. It's mine. My mother left it to me." The words came out harsher than intended, but they were true. The look on Noah's face confirmed everything. His expression shifted from confusion to something darker, a recognition that made my stomach clench. Noah's entire attitude shifted dramatically. The sweet, supportive husband disappeared, replaced overnight by a stranger. He stopped bringing me coffee, a daily ritual for 8 years. He no longer asked about my day, and compliments about my strength and deserving the inheritance vanished. He began sleeping in the guest room, claiming he needed to give me space, but I knew the truth. Noah was furious I wouldn't let him spend my mother's money. The silence in our house became deafening. We spent entire evenings without speaking, absorbed in our phones. Interactions were purely functional. Electric bill paid. Out of milk. Noah neglected the small gestures that made our marriage work. Dirty dishes, unemptied trash. He started working late more often, citing demanding marketing campaigns, but one evening, I caught him researching divorce lawyers on his laptop. His silent anger was a gathering storm, poised to overturn our lives. The tension became unbearable. I walked on eggshells, afraid any mention of the inheritance would trigger another cold shoulder. I ate dinner alone, reading Mom's old books for comfort. One night, I confided in my best friend, Amanda. "He's acting like I stole from him," I said. "Like I'm selfish for not wanting to blow Mom's life savings on luxuries." "Kelly," Amanda gently offered, "have you considered Noah is simply revealing his true self? Your mom never liked him, did she?" Her words hit me hard. Mom had tried to warn me, hadn't she? All those raised eyebrows, those quiet moments when Noah talked money. "She saw something I couldn't," I whispered. "Maybe it's time you started seeing it too," Amanda suggested. But I wasn't ready to admit my 8-year marriage was built on sand. I still hoped Noah would come to his senses and remember he married me, not my bank account. I was about to discover just how wrong I was. The inevitable explosion occurred precisely 1 month after the inheritance news broke. Noah entered the kitchen where I was preparing spaghetti and meatballs, his favorite meal, intended as a peace offering. Without preamble, he dropped his bombshell. "I think we should separate," he stated flatly. I slowly set down my wooden spoon and turned to him. His face was devoid of warmth, as if addressing a stranger, not his wife of 8 years. "Separate," I echoed, certain I'd misheard. "This isn't working anymore, Kelly. We want different things. You've changed since your mother died." "I've changed." I almost laughed, but the sound was laced with bitterness. "Noah, you've treated me like a bank account for the past month." "That's not fair," he snapped, his face reddening. "I was trying to help us build a better life together, but you're too selfish to share anything. You're hoarding that money, like some kind of dragon." Selfish. Now, genuine anger flared within me. My mother just died, and all you can think about is spending her money? She worked her entire life to save that, and you want to blow it on cars and vacations. "Well, maybe if we divorce, we'll both be happier," he responded with a dismissive shrug, as if discussing a casual lunch. I gazed at him for a long moment. The man I had defended to my mother, the man I had chosen over family gatherings, was precisely the person she believed him to be. And I had never once heeded her wisdom. That realization splintered my heart into countless fragments. But then, a distinct memory surfaced. Mr. Patterson's office, the thick folder of documents. "Okay," I said, with a surprising calm. "But there's something you should know first." Noah's eyebrows shot up. He had clearly anticipated pleas, tears, or a desperate fight. "What?" he asked, suspicion lacing his tone. I retrieved the folder from our fireproof safe. It contained all the legal documents from Mom's lawyer, which I'd been too overwhelmed to review properly. Now, Mr. Patterson's insistence that I examine everything thoroughly became chillingly clear. I returned to the kitchen and slid the folder across the counter to Noah. "Go ahead," I prompted. "Read the highlighted section on page 12. Noah opened the folder with the self-assuredness of someone who believed he held all the leverage. His face cycled from smug to confused, then to a stark pallor as he read aloud. "If my daughter Kelly is married at the time of my passing, she will not receive access to any portion of her inheritance unless and until she is legally divorced. No spouse or third party may claim or access any portion of my estate under any circumstances." The kitchen fell silent, save for the gentle bubbling of pasta water. "You mean?" Noah's voice cracked slightly. "If we divorce, you get the money?" "Every single penny," I confirmed, unable to suppress a note of quiet satisfaction. "But if we stayed married, neither of us would see a dime. The entire inheritance would go to the American Heart Association instead." Noah stared at the document as if it had personally betrayed him. His hands trembled as he reread the clause. "Your mother planned this?" he whispered. "She knew." "She certainly did. About 2 years ago, actually, right around the time you started asking her for loans to fund your brilliant business ideas, remember?" Noah's face cycled through shades of pale and crimson. We both knew exactly what I meant. His attempts to get Mom to invest in his food truck, co-sign a crypto loan, or help with a down payment on a bigger house. Mom had politely declined each time, but I now understood she'd been meticulously observing, building a profile of the man I'd married. She trapped me," Noah stammered. "She protected me," I corrected him. "There's a difference." Noah slumped into a kitchen chair, head in hands. "But I talked to a lawyer. He said spouses are entitled to half of everything acquired during the marriage. Not inheritance money received with conditions," I calmly explained. "Mom's lawyer made sure of that. She thoroughly researched Illinois divorce law before writing this clause." "So, if I divorce you, I get nothing?" "Nothing," I confirmed. "And if I divorce you, I get everything Mom intended for me." Noah looked up, desperate. "Kelly, please." "I'm sorry. I was just excited. We don't have to get divorced. We can work this out." But it was too late. I had witnessed his true self, seen him calculate our relationship like a business transaction, felt his love vanish when I denied him access to my inheritance. "No, Noah," I said quietly. "We can't work this out, because you just proved you married me for what you thought you could gain, not for who I am." "That's not true," he started, then closed his mouth. We both knew I was right. "I'll file the paperwork tomorrow," I said. "You can stay in the guest room until you find somewhere else." As I turned off the stove and drained the spaghetti, I felt a peace I hadn't known in months. Mom had foreseen this moment, meticulously ensuring my protection upon its arrival. 3 months later, I was officially divorced and $650,000 richer. Noah had attempted to contest the divorce terms, but his lawyer quickly clarified that Mom's conditions were unshakable. She had consulted with expert estate planning attorneys to ensure every detail was legally impenetrable. There were no loopholes, no technicalities, no way for Noah to claim a single penny of the inheritance. The divorce itself proceeded with surprising smoothness. Noah relocated from our apartment to a studio on the other side of Chicago, leaving with his Honda Civic, his clothes, and his wounded pride. I retained everything else, including the engagement ring he'd given me, which, ironically, he'd purchased using credit card debt. Once the legal separation was finalized, I initiated significant changes in my own life. I resigned from my taxing marketing agency job, where I'd endured 60-hour weeks for meager pay. Instead, I launched a freelance consulting career, selecting my own clients and establishing my own flexible schedule. The inheritance granted me the financial autonomy to be discerning about the work I undertook. I sold our old apartment and acquired a charming craftsman house in Evanston, just 20 minutes from Mom's former home. It boasts a spacious kitchen with gleaming granite countertops, a cozy reading nook by the front window, and a vibrant garden where I've begun cultivating the tomatoes Mom always adored. I finally embarked on that solo trip to Italy I'd dreamed of since college, the one Noah always claimed we couldn't afford. For 2 weeks, I wandered through the picturesque landscapes of Tuscany, savoring exquisite food and exploring the art museums Mom had always longed to visit. Each sunset felt like a profound gift from her. The most significant action I took was framing the last photograph I had with Mom. It now rests on my mantel, alongside a copy of her will. In the picture, she's beaming that knowing smile, the one that once frustrated me so profoundly. Now I fully grasp what she was seeing. Noah occasionally sends me texts, usually after a few drinks. He expresses regret, claims he misses me, and acknowledges his mistake. But I understand the truth. He doesn't miss me. He misses the money he was convinced he'd receive. Meanwhile, I am meticulously constructing the life Mom always envisioned for me. I'm carefully, thoughtfully re-entering the dating scene, armed with the wisdom she painstakingly tried to impart. On weekends, I volunteer at the animal shelter. I host book club meetings in my living room just as Mom once did. And sometimes, when I'm in my garden with a cup of coffee, I speak to her aloud. "Thanks, Mom," I say to the sky. "You saved me in more ways than one." I can almost hear her gentle laughter, pleased that her final, brilliant chess move unfolded exactly as she'd planned. She knew Noah would reveal his true nature the moment wealth entered the equation. She knew he would prioritize greed over genuine affection, and she ensured that when that inevitable moment arrived, I would possess everything necessary to begin anew. My mother truly was always one step ahead. Even in death, she continued to protect me, to teach me, and to love me unconditionally. Noah believed he'd stumbled upon a jackpot with my inheritance. Instead, he had walked directly into the most elegantly conceived trap I've ever witnessed, and for that, I am eternally grateful.